What's up, you guys? I'm not amazing, I'm just mediocre. Welcome back to the channel and this Apex Legends video. Today, as you can see, we're going to be talking about Mirage, the holographic trickster, and how to use this unique legend that has become the face of Apex Legends on social media. Now, before we get into the video, if you love Apex Legends and want to stay up to date on the news, if you want to learn new tips and tricks, or if you like watching epic gameplay, please consider subscribing to Mediocre Gaming. I would love to have you here. You can also see me streaming on Twitch every Monday and Wednesday. You'll find my link for Twitch down in the description below. Now on to the content you came here to see, Mirage. While this legend may be classified as an offensive character, they actually have no damage dealing abilities inside their kit, only trickery within this kit. The main form of trickery being the Decoy, which you activate by pressing L1 on your PlayStation controller. Sends out that decoy out there in about a straight line, and it'll just keep running as far as it can until it either hits a solid object or runs out of time. Lasts for about 50 seconds. And it does a lot of different things. If you jump, you can send it over walls. If you're crouching, you can send out a slow one or one that's sliding. There's things that the decoy can't do, like it cannot ride a zip line. If you try to shoot your decoy on a zip line, it'll just drop right down there. But there's also another feature of the clone decoy that when it goes out and when it gets shot, it actually provides a small piece of intel. It will temporarily reveal the location of the enemy that shot it. So this can be useful if you're trying to figure out where some enemies are holed up. You don't know where they are. You can kind of bait them into revealing their positions. It's also very good for baiting people into thinking you're somewhere where you're not. Like I sent that decoy way far away, ran the opposite direction. It's a really awesome, useful tactic. You can also make this clone stop at specific places. Like I point this right above the door, this decoy will actually stop right there at the door. And this thing makes all the same noise, sounds, motions as a regular character would, so it's kind of hard to tell apart. You can even use these decoys in something of an offensive fashion. They do absorb one bullet of any kind and also kind of provide a lot of visual clutter in the area. So you can throw one right at someone in the middle of combat and that can provide just enough edge to get you the kill. But usually how I end up using these is I'll just kind of send them out in the place where I think enemies are. It'll last for a few seconds and that might just be enough time to bait somebody into shooting it. And so even if it is a temporary distraction, it gives you that split second where the enemy's not looking at you. Maybe they don't even shoot the clone. Maybe they just give a split second look at it. But it never hurts to send it out. This ability recharges every 15 seconds. And its potential usefulness far outweighs the wait time that you would have. It doesn't have much of a risk to go put a clone out there, and you can get really creative with them. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. I want to move on to Mirage's ultimate, which is this stealth ability, kind of a stealth escape. You completely cloak yourself. You are 100% invisible. And at the same time, you also drop a bunch of clones behind yourself. I went to the firing range to demonstrate this. There is actually a trick with these clones. If you are even slightly elevated, any of the clones that were in the air will hit the ground and start running. Any that were on a solid surface will stand still. Those guys won't go anywhere. That's kind of a cool feature of the move, but I don't honestly find myself using it very often. Usually it's just enough for me to pull off the stealth, get into a different place, and then pull off a heal. It's basically a nice get out of jail free card. You're getting shot at, you can run away, reposition, get to your hiding spot, get your heals on, and get back in the fight. It's also very fast recharging. It has a 150-second recharge time. That's just over 2.5 minutes. It takes practically no time at all in comparison to some of your other ultimates. Like a match of Apex lasts like, 15, 20 minutes. You can use this thing 4, 5, 6 times within a match to pull off whatever play you need to. Get out of the line of fire. Go pick up your friend's banners. This move is exceptionally versatile. Especially like repositioning in combat can be way more powerful than you give it credit for. A quick reposition and being where an enemy does not anticipate you to be, like right up behind them, that can be all you need to do to win that match. However, this is not perfect. You yourself, you are stealth, but things about you are not. Like, in this moment, I almost got nailed by this Gibby because he could hear me and also see the puffs of my footsteps in the snow. Your environmental effects do not disappear. You still make puffs of snow, you still make puffs of dirt, you still splash your feet in the water, you still make noise. It's not perfect. Now, the final ability in Mirage's kit is probably the most useless, and it's that you go invisible when you get knocked down. There's a little kind of Mirage clone that you leave behind, and he puts on this little act, and you get to go invisible and crawl away. And this is hands down the worst passive in the game. If there was any one legend that needs a change to their passive, it is Mirage. It's literally only useful if you get knocked down. So it's like you have 2/3 of a kit. Your kit, like there's one piece of your kit that's only useful if you die. So that part is, kind of frustrating. But it can also be super useful at the same time if you happen to have something like a self-res. Like if you have that self-revive. Especially like if you're in something like a ranked game and you can use that stealth to sneak away downhill something in the middle of a fight, that can be enough to get you some rank points, man, and that's what rank mode's all about. So it's not, definitely needs some work. I feel like Mirage needs another passive, but I will say that this can be useful on occasion. Now, as a matter of kit, Mirage has kind of a weird kit where he is only as good as you are an Apex player. Like the Bamboozle is something that's more than just your decoy. It's how you play. Like you watched me right there. Bamboozle the heck out of that Pathfinder. Just being, jumping around the box. The ability to move in and out of cover in a fight, up and down and around your environment. Put in damage, back in, back out, use your abilities in conjunction with that. Maybe you're too much in the fight, you're about to die, you can then stealth out. All of these things is what make a good Mirage. A good Mirage is not just putting out your decoy or using your stealth to get out of a fight. A good Mirage is first a good Apex Legends player. They need to have good instincts for how to move around the map. They need to be able to move that character well in a fight, being able to jump up, down, around, all over the place, and just have that good instinct in a battle, which is something that will take time. So if you are a beginner player, gonna be honest, Mirage is not the legend for you. Mirage does not have much to make up for shortcomings. He's not like Gibraltar with that giant gun shield that just gives you a ton of extra damage to absorb. He's not like a Lifeline, who can be a sit-back legend, who can be more of a support legend and not have to be engaged in fights, or has things like the extra healing ability. Mirage has a very selfish kit that is only as good as you are an Apex player. Like I gave you a couple of examples for how to use that decoy. There are so many more that I've seen on Reddit and Twitter and gameplay compilations of people pretending to be decoys. and people thinking the Decoy was the real Mirage, and just getting really crazy over the top with it. But that's hard to do. It's very, very situational. I can't tell you exactly how to use a clone in the same way I can tell you great ways to use Caustic's gas trap, or the way I can tell you how to use Pathfinder's zipline or grapple. It just doesn't work the same because Mirage has such a unique kit that does something different from everybody else. Mirage's pure goal is trickery, bamboozling. And so you need to make that a part of your entire play style. Just every piece of you has to live and breathe the boozle, right? You know, you have to be aggressive, but you have to be smart about it. You need to know how to move. You need to know how to shoot. And Mirage is kind of like Wraith in that way, where it's not a legend that will make up for your shortcomings, but will give you tools to make your aggressiveness even better. Like, you will only be a good Wraith if you are a good Apex player, and you will only be a good Mirage if you are a good Apex Legends player. So besides learning how to use Mirage's very unique kit, I highly recommend you just straight up get better at the game. And if you want to do that, maybe check out a couple of the other videos that are on your screen right now. I have a whole list of Apex Legends tips and tricks you guys can check out. I also have some really fun gameplay compilations. Maybe watch those and you can observe that and find out how to get better at the game as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm not amazing, I'm just mediocre. And I'm out.